In the scorching Spanish desert, a mysterious plane crash sends black smoke billowing into the sky. The wreckage catches the attention of some local drug dealers who rush to investigate. Their eyes lock onto a massive box. Secured with heavy iron chains, something valuable must be inside. While his men struggle with the mysterious cargo, the gang leader ventures into the cockpit. There, he finds an unconscious woman with short hair. Instead of helping her, dark thoughts cross his mind. He eyes the seatbelt, pulling out his knife with sinister intentions. But he's made a fatal mistake. The woman's hand suddenly springs to life, catching his wrist in an iron grip. In one fluid motion, she turns his own knife against him, ending his life before he can even scream. Outside, his men remain oblivious to their leader's fate. As one thug reaches for the lock pliers, he turns to find his partner dead. Before he can react, cold steel presses against his back. The woman efficiently disarms him, then forces him to move the box to their vehicle. When he begs for mercy, she shows none, revealing herself as the legendary assassin known as Fire Phoenix, Dominique. After consulting her map, Dominique drives to a nearby town. At a gas station, she notices the attendant recognizing the stolen vehicle. Acting quickly, she buries the mysterious box in a secure location. Once she's refueled, she torches the car, leaving no traces behind. As night draped the small town, Dominique entered the local bar, her presence drawing curious stares from the men around her. A local approached her, his voice carrying a mix of concern and intrigue. He cautioned her about the dangers facing outsiders in this remote place, sharing a brief history of how tranquil Lucas had been transformed by destructive forces. Tension erupted when a woman suddenly shoved Dominique, sparking a potential conflict. Swiftly, the same man intervened, diffusing the situation. Something about him caught Dominique's attention. In a gesture of appreciation, she poured him a drink, and their evening ended with an intimate encounter at his home. Dawn broke, revealing Dominique brushing her hair and exposing a painful scar, a reminder of her turbulent past. Eager to move on, she inquired about purchasing a car, learning about a repair shop in the town center. Julio, a local police officer, received an urgent call about a plane shot down by a drug cartel. Unaware of Dominique's complex background, he rushed to work, promising to return and help her later. Before leaving, he casually mentioned she could use another bathroom if needed, mentioning his sister Paulina's room. In the bathroom, Dominique unexpectedly encountered Julio's entire family, a vibrant household spanning generations. The complexity of managing such a large family was evident, creating a stark contrast to her own solitary existence. At the crime scene, a darker side of local law enforcement emerged. The sheriff callously removed gold teeth from the dead bodies, suggesting this was a routine practice. Julio identified one of the deceased as the brother-in-law of Chief Santiago, a potentially explosive revelation that demanded swift investigation. Back home, as Julio's family gathered for a meal, Dominique began experiencing a severe headache. The children's noisy play provided a chaotic backdrop to her mounting distress. Suddenly, overwhelmed, she appeared before the children with a ghostly pale complexion and collapsed to the ground. Dominique's nightmare transported her to a desperate escape scene. She and her friend raced away, only to find their enemies lying in wait. A barrage of gunfire erupted, instantly killing her companion. Consumed by rage, Dominique returned fire, but a sudden shot from behind struck her down. Dr. Medina discovered Dominique had awakened, immediately assessing her condition. Her head wound had become infected, and severe dehydration threatened her health. She needed immediate care and rest. The day marked a significant celebration, Paulina's eldest daughter's 18th birthday. Julio invited Dominique to join their family dinner. As she arrived, she requested transportation to the town center. An urgent call interrupted Julio's plans. His colleague reported the arrest of 2 men connected to the plane crash. Pressed for time, Julio asked Paulina to drive Dominique into town, with their youngest daughter accompanying them. Paulina shared heart-wrenching family stories. Their youngest daughter had been mute since her father's tragic death from a heart condition. A stuffed rabbit, a final gift from her late husband, remained her sole comfort. Julio's own past bore similar scars. Once a rare, incorruptible police officer, he had survived a horrific attack that claimed his wife and children. The murderer had been a police officer he once considered a friend. Meanwhile, a brutal interrogation unfolded. 2 innocent tourists, mistaken for criminals, endured savage beatings. Chief Santiago's ruthlessness knew no bounds. When the terrified men protested their innocence, he dismissed their pleas. One of the killed men was his brother-in-law, Hector. The chief's subordinates forced the tourists into a nightmarish scene, a pool filled with human tissue and blood. Coerced confessions became their only escape from unimaginable torture. Throughout this horrific ordeal, Julio remained a silent witness, his own trauma etched into his stoic expression. Dominique arrived at the car repair shop, her keen eye immediately drawn to a white pickup truck. Recognizing it needed some parts, she negotiated with the owner, paying cash and arranging for the vehicle to be ready within 24 hours. That evening, Julio's home buzzed with celebration for his daughter's birthday. Paulina's eldest daughter's boyfriend joined the festivities, but Dominique remained an outsider, standing apart from the crowd. Julio stepped outside, their eyes meeting in a moment that would unknowingly be their final encounter. Unbeknownst to everyone, Julio was an undercover CIA agent working with internal affairs. He had meticulously investigated the De La Cruz group's control over local law enforcement, documenting how the police operated as private mercenaries. With a recorded video exposing the corruption, he hoped to finally bring the chief to justice and potentially join the CIA. But betrayal lurked close to home. Julio's own director set him up, delivering him to the chief for interrogation. Forced to reveal the location of the original video, Julio's fate was sealed. The next morning, horror erupted. Paulina's daughter heard her mother's blood-curdling scream. She rushed out to find her uncle's head grotesquely impaled on the door. Her boyfriend restrained her, recognizing the armed threat surrounding them. Ordinary people stood no chance against such violence. A fat man outside spotted Dominique, his surprise evident. When he questioned her identity and purpose, she remained silent. Meanwhile, the officers discovered Julio's laptop, prompting the chief to order the elimination of Julio's entire family, a brutal message to internal affairs. Dominique's tactical skills emerged. Using the fat man as a human shield, she returned fire with devastating precision. After exhausting the attacker's ammunition, she methodically picked off survivors. In a chilling moment, she delivered Julio's severed head to his father. The escaped attackers brought word to the chief about the mysterious woman who had decimated their forces. Retrieving Julio's laptop only intensified the chief's rage. He immediately ordered roadblocks, preventing anyone from entering or leaving. When the doctor attempted to reach the scene, officers fabricated a story about a drug cartel massacre, effectively blocking any external investigation. Dominique assessed the urgent situation, methodically collecting weapons and ammunition left behind by the police. The chief arrived at Julio's house, stunned by the carnage of his fallen subordinates. Confronting the chief directly, Dominique presented an opportunity for negotiation. The chief, recognizing her formidable skills, proposed a deal: surrender the laptop and he would overlook recent events. Dominique's counter-demand was simple yet compassionate: spare Julio's family. The chief's response was ruthless. He refused categorically, preferring to mobilize more forces to eliminate Dominique. With the next town 20 miles away and all exits blocked by his men, he was confident in his tactical advantage. As negotiations collapsed, the chief initiated a comprehensive response. He ordered the captain to summon all available personnel and requested additional reinforcements from headquarters. Simultaneously, Paulina reached out to a doctor deeply in love with her, a man willing to do anything for her. Their escape plan took shape. An ambulance would wait, and Dominique would guide the family up a hidden mountain road. However, Paulina's pregnancy and her elderly father complicated matters. They would have to survive the night before attempting escape. Dominique shifted into tactical mode. She transformed the house into a defensive stronghold. Children were instructed to board up windows with planks. She donned a bulletproof vest and strategically installed strobe lights on the roof. A pot of hot oil stood ready as a potential weapon. As darkness approached, police radio chatter confirmed approaching officers. Dominique's preparation was meticulous. She handed Paulina's eldest daughter a walkie-talkie, providing precise instructions: pull the electric brake after hearing 3 clicks, wait 10 seconds, then restore power. A cycle designed to disorient potential attackers by manipulating light and darkness. The strategy was brilliant. Human eyes typically require about 10 minutes to adjust between light and dark conditions. Even if Dominique were exposed, their vision would be compromised. However, an unexpected complication emerged. Paulina was about to give birth, a development that dramatically altered their precarious situation. A massive police force assembled outside Julio's house, with the captain preparing for a ruthless assault. Their mission was clear: eliminate everyone inside and recover the laptop by any means necessary. Dominique's defensive strategy kicked into high gear. She secured Paulina's eldest daughter inside the small house, instructing her boyfriend to hide. Paulina's father, defiant and protective, refused to retreat, insisting on fighting for his family. With calculated precision, Dominique concealed the pregnant Paulina and her children in a secret room, warning them to maintain absolute silence. The radio crackled with updates of the impending attack. She methodically boarded up the entrance as the enemy entered the yard. Positioning herself behind a car, Dominique prepared for her intricate plan. Her daughter and boyfriend waited tensely for her signal. As the officers infiltrated, she initiated her light-based tactical maneuver. After silently counting to 10, the daughter pulled the electric brake, causing a sudden, disorienting light change. The officer's pupils constricted violently. Dominique tightly shut her eyes, maintaining her tactical advantage. 5 seconds later, the power switched back. Her assault began, catching the disoriented police completely off guard. Blinded and confused, they fired wildly, even accidentally shooting their own partners. After an initial successful attack, Dominique found temporary cover. Then, emerging from an unexpected angle, she caught the remaining officers by surprise. As her ammunition dwindled, she adapted quickly. During another light-induced confusion, she silently approached an officer, stabbing him and commandeering his handgun to continue her lethal assault. The captain, realizing Dominique's brilliant strategy, ordered his men to destroy the light bulbs. Undeterred, the captain deployed a second squad with instructions to destroy the power box. Unbeknownst to them, Dominique had camouflaged herself among the pile of bodies. As they searched for survivors and radioed their status, she sprang into action during another light switch, eliminating them with surgical precision. Witnessing the second squad's total destruction, the captain desperately pushed the third group forward. Dominique moved indoors, her tactical superiority unquestionable. But a new challenge emerged. Paulina had successfully given birth, and the newborn's crying threatened to expose their carefully maintained concealment. The tension escalated as enemies approached Paulina's eldest daughter in the yard. Simultaneously, a team infiltrated the house. With split-second precision, Dominique issued a command. The girl pulled the electric brake, and a radio began playing music, a cunning diversionary tactic. The entire third squad was obliterated. Enraged, the captain unleashed a grenade launcher, blasting Dominique across the room. Resilient as ever, she recovered and grabbed the pot of hot oil, preparing to counterattack. The captain ordered his remaining officers to quickly locate Julio's family. As he entered, a scalding cascade of oil met him. Despite the attack, he managed to grab Dominique by the neck. Paulina's father attempted to intervene, but his poor marksmanship resulted in him being wounded by the captain. 2 other officers breached the back door, discovering the secret room where Paulina and her newborn were hidden. Surprisingly, a moment of humanity gave them pause, their compassion momentarily staying their hand. In a critical moment, the restrained Dominique kicked a fallen handgun to Paulina's father. With remarkable precision, he shot and killed the captain. Dominique then seized a submachine gun, eliminating the 2 remaining intruders. The house defense battle was won, but at a devastating cost. Paulina's father, critically wounded, knew he couldn't continue the escape. In a heart-wrenching scene, Paulina quickly handed her newborn to him for a final, tender moment before his passing. Paulina's eldest daughter's boyfriend had also sacrificed his life during the brutal confrontation. With cold calculation, Dominique threatened the sole surviving enemy. She instructed him to inform the chief that while the police suffered massive losses, Julio's family was apparently dead. Then, with ruthless efficiency, she knocked him unconscious. The battle was over, but the war was far from finished. At dawn, Dominique doused the house in gasoline and set it ablaze. To her frustration, the chief's men quickly extinguished the fire. They found no bodies, setting the stage for future conflict. The mistress of the De La Cruz group arrived, recognizing the potential catastrophe. The evidence of police corruption in Dominique's possession could destroy both the police department and their criminal organization. The chief desperately sought additional manpower from her. Meanwhile, the surviving family members reached their agreed mountain rendezvous point. During their rest, Dominique uncovered secrets hidden in Julio's computer. Paulina shared a touching backstory about her uncle, a former gang member turned pastor who might offer assistance if needed. At the mountaintop, the doctor awaited their arrival. Before departing, Paulina's youngest daughter gifted Dominique a doll. Dominique offered a poignant piece of advice to Paulina's eldest daughter: embrace the doll when feeling pain, acknowledging her as a born warrior. Just as hope seemed to emerge, a sudden bullet killed the doctor. Paulina's eldest daughter rushed to the driver's seat while Dominique fought to create an escape route. A hidden sniper complicated their desperate flight. Dominique crawled across the ground, fighting with everything she had. The eldest daughter struggled to start the vehicle as Dominique managed to eliminate the sniper. The car roared to life, but their relief was short-lived. A man with a submachine gun blocked their path. Despite Dominique's attempt to intervene, bullets struck the car. In a tragic moment, the car flipped. Paulina's eldest daughter emerged fighting, killing several enemies before being gunned down. The vehicle erupted in flames. Dominique arrived too late. Her rage consumed her as she eliminated the remaining enemies, but Julio's family was gone. Her first act of revenge was making the video of police corruption public. The chief, facing immediate arrest, sought protection from the group's leader. He barricaded his family in a heavily guarded villa with over 100 armed men. Dominique was undeterred. She retrieved the pickup truck and unearthed a box filled with firearms. Arming herself completely, she infiltrated the villa. Bodies soon littered the luxurious space. The chief and the group's mistress fell to her relentless vengeance. In a final, symbolic act, Dominique visited the church and handed Paulina's necklace to her uncle. The story concludes with a somber reflection. What began as an escape ended in total destruction.